morning.
Good morning.
Duncan, thank you for that reading. The last time I heard that was at the funeral of my dear friend, Yardley Love. Ryan and I experienced the same tragedy. We were rocked and shaken by something so unthinkable. But as we reflect this morning, please know that it is not tragedy nor triumph that makes us great, but rather the people in our lives that hold us accountable to who we are and who we should become. Throughout our lives, our character is tested. Our lives are a collection of moments that impact us, and in turn we will go through our lives impacting those around us. Whether that is in a positive or negative way, well, that is your choice. I'd like to share a few of the moments that have shaped my life. From 2005 to 2010, I attended the University of Virginia, and I was also a member of the women's lacrosse team. Like many of you, I thrive in a team atmosphere. I cherish being a part of something much bigger than myself. But most importantly, it is the relationships with my teammates and coaches that truly impacted me while I was in college. I wasn't the fastest player, and I didn't have the best stick. But I had watched those before me define their own greatness. Perhaps for me it was being the best teammate that I could possibly be, and showing up when others were happy sitting back. It was a challenge every single day, and just when I thought I couldn't work any harder, or I couldn't give more of myself to my teammates, that all changed with one phone call. 4 years ago this past May, I received a phone call early in the morning from my coach. I can so clearly hear her voice saying, "Whit, stop whatever you are doing, whatever you had planned this morning, get the whole team together and get them to the lawn." That was it. The next 48 hours were the most painful, worst days of my life. A bit flustered and alarmed, I gathered myself and did exactly as I was told. My first phone call after speaking with my coach was to my friend, Yardley Love. She was always one of my first phone calls when I knew I had to get something done or I needed to get the team together. Yardley always answered, and she was always there. One of the greatest things about Yardley was that it didn't matter who you were. She made time for everyone. However, that morning, there was no answer. After 3 more tries, I gave up, called the rest of the team, assuming that someone was with her. Within 20 minutes, we were all together and walking to the lawn. It was strange because we didn't go to the locker room, our normal place of gathering, but instead we went to the central location on campus. To this day, I can take myself back to the exact moments of that May 3rd morning. Walking into the Dean of Students' house, immediately seeing the looks on my coaches' and teammates' faces, and then realizing Yardley was nowhere to be found. I'm not sure which was worse. Hearing the words, "Yardley was killed last night," or seeing the undescribable sadness and pain that overcame my teammates. Yardley was murdered. It still doesn't seem real. My teammates who I had made the decision from day one freshman year that I was going to protect, I was going to keep them safe, and I was going to do everything in my power to make them better. They were the ones suffering, and there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. In that exact moment, and for the next days and weeks, I made the decision to forget about my feelings, the sadness, pain, extreme anger that I felt inside, and instead focus on my teammates, being there for them throughout this dark time. I refused to believe it was true. I refused to believe Yardley was gone. And I certainly refused to believe that my teammates could feel such pain. How could this have happened? Questions I still ask myself to this day. Excuse me. I've had a lot of time to reflect on all of this the past 4 years. And while it still doesn't make sense to me, what I think is most important to learn from this event is be there for your friends. Make good decisions. Protect one another. Stand up for yourself. And don't be afraid to do what's difficult. I like to think of myself as an eternal optimist, always finding the silver lining. And out of all of this tragedy and pain, an event so ugly, came Yardley's foundation, the One Love Foundation. This foundation strives to keep Yardley's spirit alive in everyone it touches by promoting strength of character and service, along with combating relationship violence throughout the United States. A foundation that has such a beautiful purpose and meaningful impact. Nothing could have prepared me for the challenges I was faced with throughout my time in college. As hard as it was, both on and off the field, I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. I'm a firm believer in that everything happens for a reason. However, since May 3rd, 2010, I doubt this. There's absolutely no reason for Yardley's passing. There will never be an explanation, but there will be lessons and lives that have been changed. One great thing is that I'm here now, standing before all of you, sharing our story with you, and knowing the Salisbury School and all that it stands for. The bonds that you all have run deep, and it is the depth of those bonds that will help you navigate situations no one can ever prepare you for. It is what got us through that terrible time when absolutely nothing made sense. A situation which could have torn our two teams apart brought us closer together and made us all better as individuals. None of that would have been possible had we not committed ourselves emotionally to one another. As an individual, I have followed Yardley's lead. I've thrown myself wholeheartedly into all that I've done since graduating college. I've discovered what I want and what I don't want. And all of these have been choices that I wouldn't trade. Life boils down to choices. You choose what you want to be a part of. You choose who you surround yourself with. And you choose how you respond to situations and the people around you. Be confident in your choices. Be someone who leaves a lasting impression on those around you. And as Yardley always did, value your friends. It may only take a simple smile or require a firm tug in the right direction. But commit yourself to those you care about. Thank you.